Hello everyone, John Frausto with TopspinTennis.com. In this video, I'm going to do an analysis of Philipp Kohlscreiber's one-hand backhand, specifically the low one-hand topspin backhand. So enjoy the video. All right, currently he's in the ready position. A few fun facts about Philipp before I go into the analysis. He does hail from Germany. Back in 2012, he actually received his highest ATP ranking. He was number 16 on the tour. That year in 2012, he also reached the quarterfinals at Wimbledon. He has won 8 singles titles and 7 doubles titles on the ATP tour. Another fun fact, he's won almost $13 million on the ATP Tour, which puts him in the top 50 all time for career prize money. So not a bad day at work for him. So let's go ahead. He's in the ready position now. Let's go ahead and look at some of the commonalities that we see with a lot of one-hand backhands and then some of the things that make it truly unique. One thing I want you to notice here is when he starts prepping the racket, so he sees the incoming ball going to his backhand, notice how his racket angle, or racket face, is closed. And you can see that. Notice how the edge of the racket, see that? How it's slightly closed. We'll see that a lot on the Pro Tour. When these pros have so much racket head speed, they're so strong that in order to keep that ball in the court, they will close the face slightly. So just a fun little tip there to keep in mind when you're going to be receiving a low one-hand backhand. Be interested, is this something that you incorporate in your game? How does it work? Be interested if you could leave your comment down below. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button as well. That helps the channel. We're closing in on 4,000 subscribers, so really need your help there. So thanks for helping out. All right, here's the unit turn. So he split steps. There's the grip change. One thing I want you to notice here too, I'm going to zoom in. Notice how his hitting hand, right? Notice how the fingers are kind of opening up a little bit. So basically what he does is he uses the non-hitting hand to adjust the racket, and the hitting hand actually goes for a ride, right? He just loosens up. Notice how this hand is really doing the work as far as prepping and closing the racket face. And the hitting hand actually he opens up those fingers and allows for that grip change. Here's where he sets that left side of the body. I love this position right here. So in this position, and I'll show you a diagram here, notice how he's looking over his right shoulder. So he's actually trying to show that shoulder blade to the ball. The racket head is high. His head is steady, and now he's starting to transfer that weight. If you notice, most of his weight's on this back foot, and he's going to transfer the weight to the front foot. So there's this, setting that left side. Chuck Tomlin, John Carpenter, talked about them with the CTM model. Love this. I think it helps a lot. Be interested if you get into this position when you're receiving your one-hand backhand. Let's watch that racket drop. So the beauty of bringing that racket high, we've talked about this before, is now we're utilizing gravity to assist with the power on the stroke. So Philipp drops that racket head. This is just a beautiful position here. Notice how his back knee, look at how low that gets. So when you're receiving a ball that's deep and low, it's so important to really, I've said before, like you're going to sit in a chair, you've got to get low and be able to get below that ball. And he does a beautiful job here. I mean, you obviously got to have some strength to do this in your legs and your core. And then in this position too, notice how he's so steady with his eyes and his head. He can balance that book on his head. Let's go to the approach to the ball. Here's where he shows that cap to the ball, right? That strong position here. And then let's look at the contact point. There's the contact point. So he's flush right on those strings. One thing I always like to keep in mind too, notice how it's almost like his eyes are looking through the back of the strings here at the ball. So a lot of times players have issues. They're not finding that ball far enough out in front on their one-hand backhand. So notice where he is, his head is in position to the strings. So you really want to get behind that ball. This is where you get optimal leverage and power on the shot. Notice how his hitting arm is fully extended here. So very strong position. And then his non-hitting arm is actually starting to go back. So he's using those shoulder blades. They're actually coming together, those back muscles, to generate power. So good position here. Let's go ahead, and one thing I want you to watch here is the pros, because they have so much racket head speed, and with this low ball, he's actually going to impart a considerable amount of topspin. So I want you to think about two planes here when you're hitting. The first plane is where we go from low to high on the ball. So notice how he gets just below the ball here, and he goes low to high. The second plane I want you to keep in mind when you're hitting this shot is the vertical plane here. So I want you to watch how you almost pretend like you have a pane of glass in front of you. Notice how Philipp gets vertical here with the swing path. So if you visualize a pane of glass in front of you, you're not allowed to hit through it, otherwise you're going to break it, right? So he goes vertical here. So he goes from the ball, and then he throws that top edge of the racket to the sky. Great way to impart topspin, or to think about that. All right, and let's go ahead and look at the finish. So there's that beautiful finish. Notice how he's kind of like flying like an eagle on here. Bring those shoulder blades together. Racket finishes on the right side of his body. And then notice how he lifts here a little bit with his legs to help assist with the topspin. So all in all, a great stroke. One that you can emulate on the low topspin backhand. I hope this helps. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button below. Make sure you hit the like button. Love to hear your comments. What do you think about the stroke? What are some things I can do in the future for the channel? Thank you for your support.